So we're talking about a first aid kit for your dogs, right? Or for any pets, because you also have cats.
I do have cats. So yeah, so there's some things that you can use on cats and some things you can't. But this is a pretty good idea of what you should have. There's always more things you can add.
Always, but some of the basic things we've just got right here. One of the first things that I thought of was you probably want to have a little index card with your vet's phone number, emergency vet, or the vet's phone number on there, or poison control, those kind of things. And maybe a little piece of paper with your pet's allergies or their medications that they might take.
Yeah.
That you would, and that would be if you were traveling, but something that you could lay your hands on real quick if you did have an emergency, right?
Yep.
So for flushing wounds and things, what would you start out with?
Well, if I were flushing a wound, I would start with sterile saline.
There you go. I've got some sterile saline right here.
Beautiful. And that can also be used to clean out eyes. So if your dog gets something in their eye, you can use it to flush out their eyes.
Yeah.
But sterile saline is probably one of the best things that you can have in your kit.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Sterile saline. I've got that. Also, you were mentioned you prefer Betadine over witch hazel, and I use witch hazel. It's very I don't want to say soft. What do you say? It's kind of mild. Mild. Yeah, is what I'm looking for. And Betadine has got some other properties.
Betadine, if you really have to not anesthetize, clean out a wound and you need to do it fast, that's going to be the fastest, and it's what veterinarians and pretty much most medical places use as a sterilizing agent.
Right. And we've got some hydrogen peroxide as well.
Yeah, I don't usually use peroxide on wounds at all.
Okay.
And typically the reason that I don't is because it's okay to use initially, but you don't want to continue to use it after the first 24 hours because it actually will start to deteriorate the new skin growth. And
it kills all the cells, good and bad, right?
Yep.
So if you're going to if you think there's an infection of some sort, you can use this first and then use something like the witch hazel or a Betadine. We don't recommend using rubbing alcohol on dogs.
Yeah, no, if you wouldn't want alcohol in your wound, don't put it on your dog's wound.
Don't do that.
But there's another great use for hydrogen peroxide, and that is if your dog swallows something that they shouldn't eat.
I've actually had to do that.
The other day in class, well, not the other day, it's been a while, but we had a puppy that just swallowed his toy whole. And we had to make him throw up.
In class? Oh, holy crap.
Yep. So we had to make him throw up. And I recommend doing just a capful or two and wait about 10-20 minutes and your dog will throw up their first meal.
They will.
Yeah, it's pretty dramatic what comes up.
It works fantastic. I didn't bring it with me, but I have some terramycin. Terramycin, and you can get that. It's an antibiotic eye ointment that you can even get at like Murdoch's or some of the Tractor Supply type places, right?
Yep. And it's safe for kitties too. So terramycin is a great antibacterial.
And it's not expensive.
No.
It's like $20.
Yeah,
and
it's not very
it's way
expensive.
worth having in your kit because you are probably going to use it at some point or another.
Yep.
I had a dog with an eye infection just in the last month or so that I had to put some of the terramycin in to get rid of it. So so we've gone over all those. Oh, styptic powder. I've got a can of styptic powder.
So styptic powder actually coagulates the blood or helps it stop bleeding. There's also an essential oil that you can use for that.
There is helichrysum, and we've got helichrysum right here.
Beautiful.
I love to use helichrysum. In fact, when I couldn't find my styptic powder one day, and Levi had a bleeding ear, I used a little bit of helichrysum and some cornstarch.
Perfect.
And it did stop the bleeding because helichrysum it's got blood clotting, and it's also pain relieving.
Yes.
So that's a
good
great
stuff
one
to have.
To absolutely use. We've got some other essential oils here. So what do you want to say about frankincense?
Go ahead. You talk about it.
Frankincense is a good antiseptic, but it's also, you can use frankincense for everything.
I was going to say, I can't think of anything you can't use it for.
Love frankincense for like rashes and things like that. Lavender is also really good for that. So I keep lavender essential oil on hand. And actually I keep these for my travel kit. and we'll talk about that in a minute, but you can put them in little tiny vials and stuff them in your travel kit so that you've got them if you're on the road, going to a dog show, or, you know, traveling for some other sports or things like that. Those are great to have.
Yep.
And by the way, if you do sports with your dogs, everybody should have something like this in their car.
Absolutely.
So
a little fanny pack will do you just wonders. You'll be amazed at all the stuff you can fit in there.
this came from the Red Cross. There's a whole ton of stuff. We're not going to take it out because there's so much in here, but it's got all the things that you could possibly need in case of an emergency. And I just stuffed little vials of that inside here.
Yep.
So
one of the best resources for creating your own kit is to speak with your veterinarian. And oftentimes they will give you things that you may not know that you needed, such as clamps.
yes.
So if you your dog's got a gaping wound and you need to close it, you can clamp it shut.
Tweezers.
Tweezers are
Scissors.
another one. Scissors are really important to have because you don't want to be ripping at bandages with your teeth when you're out there in the woods. So
This
you definitely want to have that kind of stuff.
Tears pretty easily, but if you've got other things and bandages, then it's.
Yep.
This tubular stretch bandage is fantastic for keeping bandages on. The non-stick pads, so if you've got a wound and you can put that on there and then put some of the tubular stuff on it, it'll hold it in place until you can get somewhere to get it taken care of.
Yep.
So that's something else that you want to have.
Yep.
I also have fennel essential oil on here. Do you know why?
Well, I would think that it's probably used for your stomach to help kind of aid in digestion woes.
It's an anti-nausea.
Anti-nausea.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it is. So if your dog does start puking and you need to stop that, you've got a couple of drops of fennel, and you can actually use fennel neat, meaning you don't need to dilute it. You can use fennel on your dog. You can, if you want it to be absorbed really fast and you're able to, put a little bit on their belly, 2 or 3 drops, and rub it in because it'll be absorbed through the skin into their stomach and kind of quell that nausea right away.
Yep.
Otherwise, you can put a drop or 2 inside their lip and it absorbs the same way.
Yep.
So fennel is
Yep.
absolutely something that I always have.
Some things that you might want to get from your veterinarian would be maybe some Endozorb or something for diarrhea too, so that you're giving your dog something orally that they can take that's safe. So I would definitely talk with your veterinarian about what they would recommend. Some over-the-counter products that you can use would be kaopectate.
Endozorb is over the counter, but it is really expensive.
It is really expensive.
But
my God, does it work?
It does work. I had that.
Really,
it
really
stops
works.
diarrhea in its tracks.
Yeah.
Almost immediately. And I've had Titus had to take that for quite some time with some stomach issues that he had, but it comes in a ginormous bottle and it's $100. So
yeah, but it's so worth it. It really is.
But you can order that on Chewy without a prescription.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Those are nice to have. What else you got out here, Tammy?
I had somewhere a syringe, an empty one. So just a syringe that you can flush a wound with. You can fill it with something like this and be able to flush it out if you can't get to it easily. And that gets the liquid down into the wound to be able to flush all the
gunk out of it.
Crap out of it.
Yep.
I've got some teething gel.
Oh, nice.
And that would be for a toothache or something.
Yeah.
A dog might break a tooth.
Might break a tooth. Might, it's going to numb whatever it touches.
Yeah.
So any of the mucosal membranes, it's going to numb.
Yep.
So it works great.
And we've got a little bit of liquid bandage here.
Awesome.
So that would be if you have an opened wound that you need to, like Levi's ear. I flushed it, put some helichrysum on it, and spray a little bit of this on it to keep it from continuing to burst open and bleed, right?
Yep, it's wonderful.
So
wonderful.
That's what I've got here, but there's so much more we talk about. Having a vet wrap, some tape,
vet wrap, gauze pads,
rubber gloves.
Those are all things that are really important to have in your kit. So the sky's the limit, really, in what you can do. This is real basic.
It is. It's what I could bring over in the car.
Yeah.
Without bringing my whole medicine cabinet. And also, this came from the Red Cross. We used to have classes every now and then, and we still have someone that can do classes for first aid for dogs. You can order these on Amazon.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, so it's a great book to have. It's the Red Cross puts it out for dogs and first aid, and then they will send you this little kit as well.
Perfect.
So
Perfect.
Those are some great things to have. We're going to have some handouts that are resources that we can that you guys can download from our website. We'll put the links on there.
Absolutely.
So thanks for watching.